Do you guys want to know how to make a rolling bass like John's Summit that sounds just like this?
You make me shiver.
Alrighty guys, so that was the sound I'll be working on today, and if you're new here, my name is Josh with the Preset Bros, and our goal is to recreate the sounds your favorite artists use so you can start using them too. Today we're going to be recreating a nice, strong, solid rolling bass found in a lot of John Summit style tracks, just that. And as always, we're going to break this sound down into 3 steps. Step 1, we're going to focus on tonality. Step 2, we are going to shape the sound. And step 3, we're going to polish it off with some effects. Be sure to stick around for a bonus step at the end though, because I'm pretty confident it's going to change your life. Also, as a thank you from us to you guys for being here and supporting the channel, we have a whole free preset pack for you down below. So definitely don't sleep on that. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's jump in. Let's go ahead and hear that sound soloed really quick. So this is the sound. And without the side chain. So just a nice strong bass to kind of create that foundation underneath the song. This is the sound, and we're going to move through it kind of quick, but feel free to pause or rewatch any point. I want to show you everything under the hood. I want to show you every single knob position, everything holding nothing back, so you guys can walk away with the exact same sound that you're hearing right here. So we're going to start with the oscillator section, and this is where you're going to get that tonality part of the sound. So whether you're loading in a wavetable or creating a sample, this is what makes up that portion of the sound. And go ahead and ignore this sub right here. That's in the macro section. We'll get to that at the end. So starting with oscillator A, I have the basic mini, -2 on the octave right there. The wavetable position is at 1, and that's pretty much all that's going on. I have my level at 75%. Next, moving on to oscillator B, I have just your standard saw stock wave and a -1 on the octave there, and then I have the level at 81%. I do have the unison knob to 3 in the detune, and so what this does is creating that width to the sound. So I'm going to turn it off and we can play the sound, and then I'll turn it on. You see how much width that created? So think of oscillator A as the model or mono middle of the sound, and then oscillator B is that support that's creating that stereo effect. Moving over, I do have some noise going on, and this is the bright white noise, and I just have the level at 0, but we are modulating that with envelope 2, and we'll get to that in just a second. We are routing all of these, including the sub, into filter 1 here, and we have it on the MG low 24, and our cutoff is at 8% or 8 hertz, and you can just have that at 0.8, any kind of low number there, because we are going to be whipping it open using modulation in the envelope section. So as long as you just set your cutoff to 8 to 0, you should be good to go. The res is at 13%, and make sure your sub, A, B, and the noise is checked. That pretty much wraps up the tonality aspect of the sound. Let's go ahead and get into shaping the sound. So for shaping it, you have 2 options. You can use the envelope or the LFO section depending on what you're trying to do. Today, we're going to use the envelope section. So for envelope number 1, I have 0.5 milliseconds on the attack, 0 on the hold, 1.38 seconds on the decay, 0 on the sustain, and then 15 on the release. So all you need to know is just make a nice pointy wave just like that, and you'll be good to go. I am modulating the cutoff knob here on filter 1, and so envelope 1, we're going to put that at 57% there. And what this is doing is when this little plucky shape hits, it just whips open that cutoff really quick. This envelope is what creates it to whip open and give us a sound. So I can show you, if I were to turn this not into a plucky shape, this is what it would sound like. So as I dial that in, that's what's creating that nice, sharp, plucky rolling bass. Moving on to envelope 2, I have a similar shape here. So you're just going to pull your sustain all the way back, leave your release, leave everything else. You're going to move your decay to 589 milliseconds. And then you can dial in this little curve right about there. And this envelope is actually modulating the level of the noise, and this is what's whipping that volume up to create that noise and kind of give it almost a transient effect. The second thing envelope 2 is modulating is actually in the effects section, so let's jump back there and see what's going on. So envelope 2 is modulating this cutoff knob right here by 48%, but let's go ahead and start at the top of the effects and we'll get there in just a second. So kicking it off, I went with a little bit of hyper dimension, and I just have the mix knob with the hyper at 21%, the size of the dimension at 13, and then the mix at 19%. Next, I wanted to add a little bit of distortion. I'm just on the tube setting. I have the drive at 66 and then the mix at 100%. Now here we are at that filter section, and the reason I have a second filter going on instead of just this one on the front page is anytime you had distortion to a sound, it can create some harmonic frequencies. And so I can go ahead and turn off this filter and we can see what the sound sounds like. And this is with it on. You see how it just tightens up that sound a little more. Before the filter was there, it was just kind of a lot of brightness and buzzy. And then when you put that second filter on after the distortion, it just tightens everything together. I have the cutoff knob at 24 Hertz and then the modulation at 48%. The drive is cranked up to 14% and then the mix is all the way up. I'm just using the MG Low 12 here. Next, I have a little boost in the EQ right here, and I'm just boosting at 532 Hertz, and I'm having it boosted by 9.3 dB. I have the Q at 28%. I'm also boosting at 1400 Hertz, and I have the Q at 42, and I'm boosting that by 6.3 dB, and this is just isolating those sounds. So finally, I finished off with just a touch of reverb, and guys, you can really overdo this, so be careful on this one, adding reverb to low end, but I found just a touch really kind of enhanced that stereo feel there, and I can A and B this, so this is without the reverb, and this is with. So microscopic difference, just super subtle. Most people probably wouldn't even be able to tell, but I just thought it enhanced that stereo feel. The size is at 35% and the decay is at 4.4 seconds, and then the mix is at 10%. That pretty much wraps up the sound in general, but I do want to dive into a few of these macros so you can take it to the next level. So over the first macro knob, I'm modulating two parameters. The first one is the level of the sub, and I'm modulating that by 84%. And I'm just using the saw wave here at -1 on the octave, and the level is at, we'll just call it 0 right there. The second thing it's modulating is the level of volume B. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, oscillator B is making up that stereo vibe, and so in order to get the sound really mono, I'm taking out oscillator B and I'm adding in another layer that's more mono. Let's go ahead and take a listen to this. I'm going to slowly increase this mono knob as it's playing so you can hear what it does. See how it just brings that sound right in the middle there? So pretty self-explanatory. Macro number 2 is just the res right here, and we're just modulating the res here by 41%, and this is just going to create a nice little notch and highlight a frequency. It's more of an acquired taste kind of sound, but let's listen to that. So it makes it kind of nasally a little bit. Macro number 3, and this is what I was going to use as the bonus tip, but this opens up the sound. And what this is modulating is the cutoff knob here, and that's modulating it by 46%. It's modulating the filter in the effects section by 34%, and then it's modulating that reverb by 21%. I do want to dive into that a little more, but let's finish out the macros first. So macro number 4 is just the wavetable, and it's just cycling through all the different wavetables here just to give a different tonality of the sound. So I can go ahead and walk you through, move this knob, and we can hear the difference. So each one of those has a little bit different tonality there, and so I just thought it would be an easy way to do that for someone that might not know to go to the wavetable here. So macro number 3, and this brings us to our bonus tips section. How do you use macro number 3? Well, let's go ahead and do that together. So let's create an automation clip here for it. And typically what I like to do is I like to find the end of a phrase or the end of your chord progression, and then we'll brighten it up right at the end before it ducks back into the normal one. So something like this maybe. So it just kind of grows a little bit, and we can even make that a little more drastic here. We can hear that in context. So it just emphasizes the end portion there of the sound. And that can be really helpful to just add some flavor and some excitement into your song. And you can do it on you can do it kind of in between a little bit as well, just to add a little flavor. Like you can do a little one right here. We can even maybe start one right here. So just have fun with it, guys. It's a great way to add some dynamic and make your bass a little more exciting, so it's not just straightforward and the whole song. That can get kind of boring. Alrighty, guys, there is one part of the song that I want to show you really quick, and it's this break right here. So I'm going to start it here in the chorus. So that's probably one of my favorite parts of the whole song, and it's a really nice stutter synth. And today we learned how to make an incredible rolling bass, but if you want to know how to make this stutter synth, go ahead and watch this video next.